There is a specific kind of silence that only exists when the world is covered in fresh snow. It is a silence that feels heavy and comforting at the same time, like a wool blanket wrapped around the earth. Imagine waking up in a place where winter isn't something you endure, but something you celebrate. We spend so much time looking for tropical paradises that we forget the profound beauty of the American North. These are the places where the landscape transforms into living art, sculpted by wind and ice, where the air is so crisp it feels like drinking cold water after a long hike, instantly waking up your soul, and where the community bond is stronger because nature demands it to be. In 2026, as the world gets louder and more chaotic, there is a massive movement toward these quiet sanctuaries. People are trading humidity for fireplaces, choosing crackling oak over buzzing air conditioners. They are trading traffic jams for frozen lakes under the moonlight, where the only traffic is a passing deer. And they are discovering that the cold doesn't trap you, it frees you. It slows life down to a human pace, forcing you to stop rushing and start living. It forces you to appreciate the warmth of a coffee mug, the crackle of wood, and the stunning clarity of the stars. Today, we are journeying through the top 10 states where winter is the most magical season of all. These aren't just cold states, they are destinations. They are winter wonderlands where life is beautiful, peaceful, and undeniably real. If you have ever dreamed of a life that looks like a Christmas card, you are looking for one of these places. Let's explore the Frozen 10. Number 10, Michigan. We begin our journey in the Great Lakes state, a peninsula defined by fresh water and fresh snow. Michigan in winter is a masterpiece of water and ice, a living gallery that changes every day. While the rest of the world sees gray, Michigan sees a dazzling spectrum of white and blue. The defining feature here is the water, which frames the state on almost every side. When the Great Lakes begin to freeze, they create sculptures of ice along the shorelines that look like they belong on another planet. Shards of blue ice pile up against the piers, creating caves and mountains that explorers love to photograph. But the real magic happens inland, deep in the forests and the small towns. Michigan embraces winter like nowhere else in the Midwest. This is a state where the end of summer is just the beginning of the adventure. Think about the Upper Peninsula, a place so wild and remote it feels like a different country. It is one of the last true wildernesses in the Midwest, untouched and pristine. Here, you can snowshoe through forests that look like Narnia, with pine trees bowing under heavy, sparkling blankets of snow. The silence in these woods is profound, broken only by the crunch of your boots. The waterfalls don't just stop, they freeze in motion, turning into towering pillars of blue and white ice. Seeing the Munising frozen waterfalls is a spiritual experience that stays with you forever. It is nature paused in time, a reminder of the power and stillness of winter. And for those who love speed, Michigan is the snowmobile capital of the world. Thousands of miles of groomed trails connect small, welcoming towns, creating a highway system just for winter. You can ride for days through the backcountry, stopping at cozy roadside diners where the pancakes are huge and the coffee is endless. These diners are the heartbeat of the community, warm places full of laughter and the smell of bacon. But it's not just about the outdoors, it's about the indoors too. It's about the culture of cozy, or what the Danish call hygge. Michigan towns like Traverse City and Holland turn into storybook villages when the snow falls. The heated sidewalks in some downtowns keep the streets clear, inviting you to walk and window shop. The breweries are warm and packed with friends laughing over dark stouts and porters. There is a profound sense of home here, a feeling of belonging. When the snow falls outside and you are inside a warm cabin overlooking a frozen lake, you feel a sense of safety that is hard to explain. It is the feeling of being protected from the elements, yet entirely connected to them. Michigan offers a winter lifestyle that is active, vibrant, and incredibly beautiful. It is a place where you don't hide from the snow. You play in it, and then you come home to warm up. Numero 9, New Hampshire. Moving east to New England, we find the Granite State. New Hampshire is where winter feels classic, like stepping into a history book. It feels like history preserved in amber, or in this case, in ice. This is the land of white steeples, covered bridges, and mountains that turn purple in the twilight. The architecture here was built for winter, with steep roofs and central chimneys that promise warmth. If you love skiing, this is your paradise, the birthplace of the sport in America. The White Mountains offer some of the most historic and thrilling skiing in North America. Places like Bretton Woods and Cannon Mountain aren't just resorts, they are traditions passed down through families. Generations of families have learned to carve turns here, sharing hot chocolate in the lodges afterwards. The culture of après-ski here isn't just about partying, it's about relaxing by a massive stone fireplace. But you don't have to be an adrenaline junkie to love New Hampshire. There is a quiet majesty to the valleys that appeals to the soul. Driving the Kankomagus Highway in winter is one of the most scenic drives on Earth. The road winds through forests of birch and pine, all coated in hoarfrost that catches the light. It sparkles like diamonds in the morning sun, creating a tunnel of light and snow. And let's talk about the towns, which look like they were built for a holiday movie. North Conway and Jackson are the epitome of New England charm. You can take a sleigh ride through the fields, wrapped in heavy wool blankets, listening to the bells on the horses. It sounds like a cliche, but here, it is real life. A tradition that has survived for centuries. The local economy is built on hospitality, on welcoming strangers in from the cold. Innkeepers know your name and remember how you take your coffee. Restaurants serve hearty chowders and pot roasts that warm you from the inside out. Food meant to sustain you. New Hampshire also offers a unique sense of freedom and independence. The state motto, "Live free or die," applies to the winter too, encouraging self-reliance. There is no sales tax, which makes buying that high-quality winter gear a little cheaper. But more importantly, there is a respect for privacy and independence that is rare today. You can have a cabin in the woods, acres of silence, and total peace without anyone bothering you. Yet, you are never too far from a town center with a bookstore and a bakery. It is the perfect balance of isolation and community, of solitude and society. In New Hampshire, winter is dignified and graceful. It is beautiful, stoic, and deeply, deeply peaceful. Number 8. Idaho. Heading west to the Rockies, we arrive in Idaho, the hidden jewel of the mountains. If you think you know mountain living, Idaho will surprise you with its rugged elegance. This is the hidden gem of the American West, often overlooked for its more famous neighbors. While everyone else crowds into Colorado or Utah, Idaho remains pristine, uncrowded, and spectacular. The landscape here is dramatic, with vertical relief that makes your heart race. Jagged peaks rise straight up from the valley floors, piercing the blue sky. In winter, the contrast between the white snow and the dark river canyons is breathtaking. Sun Valley is legendary for a reason, blending Hollywood glamour with cowboy authenticity. It was America's first destination ski resort, and it retains a glamour that feels timeless. But unlike other luxury spots, it hasn't lost its soul or its connection to the land. You can ski world-class runs in the morning and eat a burger at a local dive bar at night. But the real secret of Idaho is the hot springs, the geothermal gifts of the earth. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, like sitting in a natural hot spring while snow falls gently around you. Idaho is dotted with these geothermal miracles, hidden in forests and along riverbanks. Some are developed resorts with pools and changing rooms, but many are wild. Imagine hiking a short trail through a silent cedar grove, your breath visible in the air. You find a steaming pool of water, framed by river rocks and snow. You soak in the heat while watching elk graze on the nearby hillside, undisturbed. It is pure magic, a connection to the earth that feels ancient. Idaho is also a haven for those who love the sky and the stars. Because of the low population density, the light pollution is almost non-existent. The Central Idaho Dark Sky Reserve is one of the best places in the world to stargaze. On a clear winter night, the Milky Way looks so close you could almost touch it. Living here feels like living in a nature documentary, surrounded by wild beauty. It is wild, yes, but it is also incredibly welcoming and safe. The people of Idaho value their land, and they are eager to share its beauty with anyone who respects it. It is a place to find yourself, to get lost in the beauty of the mountains. Number 7. Wisconsin. Back to the Midwest, we find the heart of winter culture. Wisconsin is a state that doesn't just tolerate winter, it invented the art of enjoying it. If other states hide indoors, Wisconsin throws a party outside. There is a joy here that is infectious, a resilience that comes with a smile. This is the state that gave us the concept of the supper club, a dining tradition like no other. Imagine driving through a snowy night and seeing a warm neon sign glowing in the distance. You walk inside and it's like stepping back in time to a simpler era. Wood paneling lines the walls, a fireplace crackles in the corner, and the smell of prime rib fills the air. You order an old-fashioned, the state drink, and suddenly you are family. Wisconsinites are famous for their friendliness, and winter brings out the best in them. They don't stay inside, they embrace the ice. They go ice fishing, but they turn it into a social event. They build little cities on the frozen lakes, complete with heaters and bunks. It's not just about fishing, it's about sitting with friends, playing cards, and laughing while the wind howls outside. It creates a bond that you don't find in warmer climates, a shared experience. And let's not forget the water parks, the unexpected twist of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Dells is the water park capital of the world, and many of them are indoors. It is a surreal and delightful experience to be swimming in a tropical pool while it is 10 degrees outside. It's perfect for families, offering a taste of summer in the middle of winter. But for the nature lover, the Door County Peninsula is stunningly beautiful. The frozen shoreline of Lake Michigan looks like the Arctic, with ice caves and towering drifts. It is a photographer's dream, a landscape of white minimalism. Wisconsin is also incredibly affordable compared to the coasts. You can buy a beautiful historic home for a fraction of what it costs elsewhere. You can have the land, the house, and the lifestyle without the financial stress. It is a practical, grounded, and deeply happy place to live. In Wisconsin, winter isn't a burden, it is a gift. It's an excuse to come together and celebrate life. Number 6, Vermont. Returning to the east, we find the picture-perfect state. Vermont is the visual definition of an American winter. If you asked a child to draw a winter village, they would draw Vermont without knowing it. It is aesthetically perfect, preserved by strict laws and local pride. There are no billboards in Vermont to block the view, just rolling hills, red barns, and white snow as far as the eye can see. The vibe here is artisanal, slow, and intentional. This is a place for people who value quality over quantity, depth over speed. Winter here smells like wood smoke and maple syrup, a comforting aroma. The skiing is fantastic, of course, with some of the best mountains in the east. Stowe and Killington are world famous, attracting athletes from all over. But Vermont offers something else. A deep Nordic culture. Cross-country skiing through the quiet woods is a meditation in motion. You glide past old stone walls and frozen brooks, listening to the silence. It is exercise for the body and the soul, leaving you refreshed. Vermont is also a haven for foodies and agricultural enthusiasts. The farm-to-table movement never stops here, even in the depths of winter. Root cellars are full of local potatoes, squashes, and apples. Cheesemakers are producing world-class cheddar that rivals anything in Europe. There is nothing better than finishing a cold day with a meal that was grown 5 miles down the road. The towns are vibrant, intellectual, and full of character. Places like Burlington and Montpelier are full of artists, writers, and thinkers. Bookstores are thriving here, acting as community hubs. There is a culture of reading and discussion that feels very cozy and civilized. Imagine sitting in a leather chair in a local library, watching the snow pile up outside, with a good book in your hand. That is the Vermont dream, a life of quiet contemplation. It is a place that respects the quiet and protects it. It is a place where you can hear your own thoughts clearly. For anyone looking to escape the rat race and find a life of intention, Vermont is the answer. It is small, safe, and breathtakingly beautiful. Number 5, Wyoming. Now we go to the land of giants. Wyoming is the American West in its most majestic and untamed form. Winter in Wyoming is grand, operating on a scale that is hard to comprehend. The scale of the landscape makes you feel small in the best possible way, humbling you. Jackson Hole is the crown jewel, a valley surrounded by sharp peaks. The Teton Range rises out of the snow like a cathedral of rock and ice, dominating the skyline. Seeing the Grand Tetons in winter is something everyone should do once in their life. But living there is a privilege that few get to experience. Living there is a front row seat to the wild. The wildlife viewing in Wyoming is unmatched in the lower 48 states. In the winter, the elk herds move down into the valleys to escape the deep snow. You can see thousands of elk at the National Elk Refuge, a sea of antlers. Bison plow through the snow with their massive heads, looking like prehistoric beasts. Wolves hunt in the Lamar Valley, playing out the ancient drama of predator and prey. It is a front row seat to the drama of nature, unscripted and raw. And unlike the summer, the crowds are gone, leaving the park to you. You have the parks to yourself, a private playground. You can take a snow coach into Yellowstone and see Old Faithful erupt against a backdrop of snow. The steam creates diamond dust in the air, shimmering in the sunlight. It is otherworldly, a landscape of fire and ice. Wyoming is for those who crave solitude and space above all else. You can own land here where your nearest neighbor is a mile away, or 10. The silence is absolute, a silence you can feel in your bones. At night, the stars are so bright they cast shadows on the snow. The people who live here are self-reliant, kind, and tough. They value freedom and the outdoors above all else. It is a rugged life, yes, but it is a life of immense reward. Every morning, you look out your window and see a view that would cost millions of dollars anywhere else. else. Here, it's just your backyard. Wyoming in winter is not just a place to live. It is a place to be awed by the planet. Number 4. Maine. We head to the far northeast corner of the nation. Maine is raw, authentic, and deeply romantic in a rugged way. They call it vacation land, but the locals know that winter is the secret season, the best season. The coast of Maine in winter is hauntingly beautiful and dramatic. The Atlantic Ocean crashes against snow-covered granite rocks, spraying mist into the freezing air. Lighthouses stand guard against the gray sea, their beacons cutting through the mist and snow. It is a scene straight out of a novel, timeless and powerful. Acadia National Park is open in winter, and it is a completely different experience than summer. The loop road is groomed for skiing, not cars. You can cross-country ski on the carriage roads, with views of the ocean at every turn. The air smells of salt and balsam fir, a unique and intoxicating blend. It is invigorating, clearing your lungs and your mind. And then there is the food, the bounty of the cold sea. Lobster doesn't stop in winter, the season continues. In fact, winter lobster is often sweeter and more tender. Eating a hot lobster roll and clam chowder by a roaring fire while a storm rages outside is peak comfort. Maine is also the land of the wood stove, a central fixture of the home. There is a ritual to life here that revolves around warmth. Stacking wood, building the fire, keeping the home warm becomes a daily meditation. It connects you to the work of living, making you appreciate the heat. It feels satisfying to provide your own warmth. The people of Maine are famous for their dry humor and their helpfulness. If you get stuck in a snowbank, someone will stop to pull you out before you can even call a tow truck. It is a community that looks out for each other, knowing that winter is a shared challenge. Maine is perfect for creatives, writers, and anyone who draws inspiration from the sea. It is a place where nature is the main character in your life. Living here feels like living on the edge of the world in the most beautiful way possible. Numero 3. Minnesota. We return to the North Star State. Minnesota is a state that doesn't just survive winter, it thrives on it with enthusiasm. Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, and in winter, those lakes become 10,000 playgrounds. The culture of the North is strong here, a badge of honor. Minnesotans are proud of their hardiness and their ability to enjoy the cold. They embrace the hygge lifestyle before it was a trend, prioritizing comfort and connection. Homes are designed to be sanctuaries against the cold. Saunas are huge here, a tradition brought by Scandinavian ancestors. There is a tradition of taking a steaming hot sauna and then rolling in the fresh snow. It sounds crazy to outsiders, but it makes you feel more alive than you have ever felt. Minneapolis and St. Paul are incredible winter cities, vibrant and active. They are cultural hubs that don't shut down when the snow flies. The theater scene is world-class, with more seats per capita than anywhere outside NYC. The museums are fantastic, offering warm refuges of art and history. And the infrastructure is brilliant, designed for the climate. The Skyway system lets you walk all over the city without wearing a coat, connecting buildings with glass bridges. But the real beauty is in the North Woods, away from the cities. The Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness is accessible by dog sled in the winter. Imagine mushing a team of huskies across a frozen lake, the only sound being the panting of the dogs. It is primal and exhilarating, a connection to an older way of life. Minnesota is also one of the best places in the lower 48 to see the northern lights. When the conditions are right, the sky explodes with green and purple ribbons dancing overhead. It is magic, pure and simple. The cost of living is reasonable, the economy is strong, and the healthcare is top tier. Minnesota offers a high quality of life that is hard to beat anywhere. It is a state that takes care of its people, and in winter, it offers a wonderland that is uniquely its own. Number 2. North Dakota. Now we visit the Peace Garden State. North Dakota is the unsung hero of the American winter. You might be surprised to see it this high on a list of livable winter states, but North Dakota offers something that is disappearing from the modern world: silence, true peace and quiet. The landscape here is vast and open, stretching to the horizon. The horizon stretches forever, unbroken by clutter. In winter, under a blanket of snow, it looks like an ocean of white, calm and still. It is minimalist beauty at its finest. The sunsets here are legendary, painting the entire sky. Because the land is so flat, you see the entire sky turn fire red, then purple, then deep blue. And then there are the sun dogs, a phenomenon of the cold. Ice crystals in the air create halos shadows and mock suns around the true sun. It looks like science fiction, a sky from another world. North Dakota is a place of incredible community warmth. Because the population is low, people matter more. You are not a number here. You are a name, a face, a neighbor. You are a necessary part of the community. The pace of life is relaxed and unhurried. There is no rush hour here. There is no frantic energy or competition. Just the steady, calm rhythm of life. Fargo is a surprisingly hip and cool city, defying stereotypes. It has a thriving downtown with restored brick buildings, trendy coffee shops, and art galleries. It feels urban, but safe, a perfect mix. And for the outdoor lover, the Badlands in the west are stunning in snow. Theodore Roosevelt National Park becomes a silent maze of canyons and buttes. Bison look ancient with snow matted in their fur, surviving as they have for millennia. North Dakota is for the person who wants to reset their life, who wants to escape the noise and the pressure. It is a place where you can breathe deeply, where you can afford a big house, a warm fire, and a life that is entirely your own. It is the understated, quiet champion of winter living. Number 1, Alaska. And finally, the ultimate winter paradise. Alaska isn't just a state, it is a dream, a legend. It is the last frontier, and in winter, it is the most beautiful place on earth. If you want to live a life of adventure, this is the only place to be. The scenery is so grand it defies description, making photos look inadequate. Mountains that touch the stratosphere, piercing the clouds. Glaciers that glow electric blue, moving slowly through the valleys. Forests that stretch for 1,000 miles, unbroken by roads. Living in Alaska changes you fundamentally. It reconnects you with the wild part of your soul that civilization has buried. The winter here is not dark. It is filled with light of a different kind. The moonlight on the snow makes the night as bright as day, a blue twilight. And the aurora borealis, the northern lights. Alaska is the best place in the United States to see the lights. Imagine standing on your back porch, a cup of tea in hand, watching the sky dance. Ribbons of emerald, violet, and red swirl directly over your house. It happens all the time, and it never gets old. The community in Alaska is unlike anywhere else in America. People are judged by their character and their capability, not their job title or car. There is a spirit of freedom here that is intoxicating. You can do anything here. You can dog sled through the boreal forest. You can flight sea over Denali and land on a glacier. You can ice fish for giant trout in frozen lakes. Or you can just sit by the fire and read, knowing that you are in the wild. The cold here is dry and crisp, not damp. It doesn't soak you like the damp cold of the coast. It invigorates you. And the summers? The summers are the reward, with 24 hours of daylight and frantic energy. But many Alaskans will tell you they prefer the winter. They prefer the quiet, the snow, and the peace, the beauty of the white landscape, the focus that winter brings. Alaska is for the bold, for the dreamers who want more than a suburban life, for those who want their life to be a story worth telling. It is the #1 winter destination because it offers the most profound experience of nature. Welcome to the great land. So there you have it, 10 states where winter is not an enemy, but a friend. 10 places where the cold brings people together. We spend so much of our lives trying to be comfortable that we forget the joy of being cozy. We forget that you can't have the warmth of the fire without the cold of the snow. These states offer a different definition of wealth. They offer the wealth of time, the wealth of space and silence, and the wealth of a community that comes together when the temperature drops. Living here means embracing the seasons, not fighting them. It means watching the world go to sleep under a white blanket and finding peace in that stillness. It takes a special kind of person to love the cold, but for those who do, these places aren't just coordinates on a map. They are home. Whether you choose the frozen lakes of Minnesota, the jagged peaks of Wyoming, or the endless sky of Alaska, you are choosing a life of beauty. So maybe this year don't chase the sun, chase the snow. You might just find that the warmest place on earth is sitting by a fire in the middle of a blizzard. Stay cozy out there, and welcome to the winter.